So congratulations on your
Thank
promotion.
you.
You can sit.
I can sit here. Or can we do that?
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our spring Ohigan service this morning. So nice to see you, especially since we have our special guest speaker, Reverend Bert Sumikawa, this morning. If you could all rise, we will have the entering of our ministers.
May the spirit of Amida Buddha pervade our spreads hall. May we seek the way without contravene its great fall. With the avatar of wisdom and compassion in among us, may the Buddha himself come right into our midst, sitting on the last throne. Today, before the altar which enshrines Amida Buddha, we gather together to observe the spring Ohigan service. According to legend, the setting sun of the day of Equinox points to the Pure Land, which is said to be due west of us, and its gates are opening on those 2 times of the year. Ohigan allows us to ancestors to come and to visit us. Higan, which means reach the other shore, that suggests another word after that. Forever, in Buddhism teaching, it means the attainment of enlightenment of Nirvana. For us, the Pure Land. We cross the stream of river of birds and death, use the raft of the Dharma. Master Shigan reminded us of the twofold responsibility we have to learn from our predecessors of the past and to leave good lessons and better word for those to come in the future. May we receive this Ohigan to realize the importance of learning from the Buddha Dharma and from those who live before us, reconfirms our commitment to listen every more diligently to the teachings of Shakyamuni Buddha and Master Shigan, the teachings of the Nembutsu, put into the practice of lessons in our everyday life. Respectfully Gasho on March 10, 2024, Shakuji. Please, I ask your hands together in Gasho, in meditation. Namo Amitabhas, Namo Amitabhas, Namo Amitabhas, Namo Amitabhas.
Please remain standing and turn to page 81 in your white service book for Vandana Tea Ceremony.
Vandana Sistana first. Page 81, a cappella. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sambuddhassa buddham saranam gacchami dhammam saranam gacchami sangham saranam gacchami.
Please turn to page 80 for Gatha Shinshu Shuka. Mino sachi nani ni tato beki itasura michi mo kikiraki makoto no mibune Please be seated. We'll now have the chanting of Shoshinge led by Reverend Marco Sawada. This will be found in your white service book on page 8 to 23, the Nembutsu. Then continue on to Wasan 2 on page 28 to 30, and then back to page 27 for echo. Okay. So again, page 8 to 23, then 28 to 30, and then back to 27. During this chant, we'll have the opportunity to offer incense.
長法系無大偶然五行四有四小十十世名称文実法無法無量無変更無限無体公園の少女歓喜死へ行無断難死無証拠超日学校小人生一切群上無交渉本願名号少女語死心信行管理員上等学書大涅槃一子面倒願成就如来所依公修世唯世弥陀本願会五辱悪事群上会往生如来如実言同法一年喜愛心無断煩悩徳涅槃本性逆法再永有上修死入会一味摂取信仰上昇後理の随波不明暗頓内心相死運無上不信自信人天二行日光不運無運無資源妙無安逆心謙虚大狂気即応調整合悪臭一切全幕本部に本心如来偶世願文言広大小芸者善人名踏んだりけ二打部本願念部邪見狂慢悪修上信行中知人に南中死難昔インド祭典シロンゲ中華自治域史こそ現代諸公聖書意妙如来本勢大き釈迦如来両河線一種五名南天竺流十大自主とせ真の財派無権先生大乗無情報召喚議事小安楽賢治難行六六新行異行指導楽億年未打部本願知念即時入筆上唯の上昇如来語応大義無税論天神菩薩総論世異名無下公如来永衆たら献身寺公正法長大誓願こういう本願力栄光異道群上昇一心記入苦毒大崩壊実逆入大永修修特使連芸創世界即昇進女法昇進有本の人間人図入所自音自用芸本自動案両天使上皇乱消防さらい三蔵ルシ十状況 本書専業気楽法天神菩薩論中下行動因果見性願方言栄光ゆたりき少女死因唯心人惑前本部新人法承知生じ即涅槃一子不良光明道小衆上回復系同社結晶道南省唯名浄土活入万全自力変言宗円満特報感染症三風三神慶音言増魔法明道義一生増悪地偶税思案妖怪小妖怪
独妙不所依
公愛上三用逆悪公明明法原因ね海遊本願大智慧行者小樹今後心狂気一年相応用意大と逆三人即所保障市上楽原神公開一概表返金安女間一切先祖終身反戦人法家二道小弁流極重悪人唯勝負が薬剤費摂取中煩悩証言水風見大非無見上昇学本次元空妙仏教連民全幕本部人新宗教書後編集先着本願部悪性現来生じ臨伝で月地儀上異生死即入弱上無意楽一新人異能入不教大事修士と上才無変俗俗悪同族自主愚道心唯化心死
南無阿弥陀仏
南無阿弥陀あぶ南無阿弥陀あぶ南無阿弥陀南無阿弥陀あぶ南無阿弥陀南無阿弥
Page 28実法未尽世界の
念部の主張をみそなわし摂取し して捨てざれば阿弥陀と名付け立て祀るゴージャ人寿の如来は万行の正然嫌いつつ名語不思議の信心の等しく人へに進めしむ実法語者の諸ブッダご不難心の鳥を解き五濁悪世のためにとて少女骨せしめたり諸部の五年少女は悲願成就のゆえなれば今後真の縁人は皆の大本法ずべし五濁悪事悪世界直悪邪見の主情には皆の名を与えてぞ王者の勝負進めたる皆の名を唱えつつ信心誠に売る人は億年の心常にしてぶっとん応ずる思いあり。
Page 27. Gannishi Udoku.
よどせいさいどほぼだいしんおじょあんらお
I asked our palms together in Gaosho. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. We vow to give equal to all the milk together to raise the mind of body and awaken to the realm of seven joy. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu.
We will now have the reading of the 6 Paramitas by Reverend Marco Sawada. This is on page 136 in the red service book.
Let's read it together from number 1.
Dana, Fusei, giving, offering, generosity. This is the practice of an open heart, of giving freely what is needed by others. 2. Sila, Jikai, discipline, observing the precepts. This is to develop good behaviors, to obey the rules of parents and teachers, and the laws of society. Buddhism encourages the development of the threefold discipline in favor of body, speech, and mind. 3. Kisanti, Niniku, patient, inclusiveness. One who is patient can endure long and is able to overcome many difficulties. Is patient, we can develop an open heart, and frustration and anger will diminish. 4. Virya, shoji, endeavor, diligence, perseverance. This is to strive with one's whole heart, not for short periods of concentrated effort, but continuously over the long periods. Spiritual strength enables the individual to continue on without giving up in the face of difficulties. 5. Dhyana, Zenjo, meditation, contemplation. The practice of meditation helps one to develop the other paramitas. Meditation allows a person to concentrate upon the mind, to learn to understand it. Through meditation, we can penetrate the mind's delusions and gain insight into ultimate reality. 6. Prajna, or Tie, wisdom, insight, understanding. This is to see things as they are without the prejudices and perspectives that come from the within. It is the letting go of opinions and concepts and the relinquishment of the self that brings wisdom that leads directly to enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Every time Master Renyo reminds us about 3 important things, how to listen with the heart. 1, you should listen as you are listening for the very first time. You should listen as this message is for you alone. And 3, you should listen as this is the last time you will ever do so in your life. Master Renyo, 500 years ago, Namanda. Aloha, good morning. Thank you for coming, and you are following us at the YouTube channel. Thank you so much, and thank you. Today is Ohigan service, and we are, for us, it's a little sad because it's the last live stream. I as a minister here, I'm doing. But I only want to thank you for supporting us, supporting me, supporting my family for 3 years. And I'm going to start to move to Hilo in Big Island. But I hope this most important thing is you keep it to listen to the Dharma. Yeah? One thing to can keep this temple in continue is when you have listeners. If you don't have any more listeners, we don't have more, to people follow. This temple is only one facility, but without the 3 treasures, without the Sangha, without the Dharma, without the Buddha, the teachers, we cannot follow. The base of everything you do, this is the 3 treasures. Never forget that. Namo Amida Butsu. Today, we have our great guest speaker today. I want to introduce him. As he was born in Persit Peninsula and moved to Kailua after the 5th grade and graduated from Yolan School. He received his bachelor degree in zoology
and minor in philosophy and theology from Marquette University. And he attended dental school at the same university and graduated with a Doctor of Dental Surgery degree, followed by a resident in the pediatric dentistry at the Wisconsin Children's Hospital. He's a fellow member of the American College of Dentists, as well as a fellow of International College of Dentists. While in practice in Honolulu, he became interested in Buddhism and began to study earnestly. After receiving Tokudo, his certification as minister, and he was assigned as a minister, assistant minister, first at Kaneohe Hongwanji and later at the Kapolei Buddhist Sangha. After he got his Kyoshi certification and he received Kyoshi step, he served as an interim minister at Moilili Hongwanji and later as an associate minister at the Honpa Hongwanji, Hawaii between, and then back to Moilili Hongwanji and as their resident minister. He now is called the Windward Buddhist Temple as their minister, and they oversee minister of the Kapolei Buddhist Sangha. Now he has returned to Moilili Hongwanji as their resident minister. Incidentally, he has a really nice background. His maternal great-grandfather was a Christian minister in Kobe, in Japan, and his maternal grandfather was a long-time Christian minister in Waimea, Kauai, after first serving at the Lihue Christian Church. I met Sensei Sumikawa in Naaleho, Hongwanji, maybe about 500 years ago. And Sensei Sumikawa was really every time nice and wise, and I really impressed with him because he is identified as a Buddhist minister. Reverend Sumikawa has been helping Kaneohe Higashi Hongwanji and helped me since I came here to Oahu. And we could make together Windward Bone Dance there in 2 years, consecutive years. And I want to thank her for everything. Sensei supported me and continue to support me here in Oahu. I want to introduce now, welcome our guest speaker, Reverend Bert Sumikawa. Thank you, Sensei, to come to us today.
Thank you so much for that introduction. It was a long introduction. I told him earlier, it's probably going to be longer than my Dharma message today. But I appreciate very much the opportunity to come and visit with you once again. As Reverend Sawada said, I met him several years ago when I went to Hilo to give a Dharma talk, and also he went with us to Naalehu. It was a long drive south, especially coming back was a long drive, but then before going to the hotel, he gave me 2 cans of beer to get me settled in, so I appreciated that very much. We're going to miss you, and best of luck to you and your family back in Hilo again. I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. I want to thank each of you for inviting me and giving me this opportunity once again to share the Dharma with you. It's always nice to be with you here at the Kaneohe Hongwanji. And it is a testament to both your Sangha and ours whoever that might be, you know, as he said, I mean, all over the place. In Japanese, they call it Achikochi Minister. If you remember a long time ago, a TV series called Have Done Will Travel, well, Have Wagasa Will Travel. I guess they don't know where to put me. Anyway, let's put our hands together in reverence as I read these words. The ocean of birth and death of painful existence has no bound. Only by the ship of Amida's universal vow can we who have long been drowning unfailingly be brought across it. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Well, today, for the entire month of March, we're observing what is called Ohigan. And as you know, it is a time when the length of day and the length of night are equal. It is called the vernal equinox, and the world feels in balance and in comfortable harmony. This equinox appears again in the fall. In all other Buddhist denominations, with the exception of Jodo Shinshu, the 6 paramitas are considered to be necessary to go from this shore of delusion and samsara to the other shore, which is enlightenment or Ohigan. But for us, we should reflect on the 6 paramitas of dana, discipline, patience, effort, meditation, and wisdom, and consider how these 6 paramitas, the 6 perfections, through upaya or through skillful means, Amida Buddha makes us see things as they really are, and therefore are able to express and realize harmony in our lives. We've had some unusual weather this past few weeks, but if you look at the mountains, you will see that they're especially coated with a beautiful green color, signifying vibrant vegetative growth. So I especially like the rainy season because of it. When we think of Ohigan, we look at it as the awakening of spring. In other words, when spring actually starts, when flowers are beginning to bloom, the leaves on the trees are beginning to sprout anew, ending the long, dormant, and cold winter season, maybe not here, but in the Midwest and in the East. Life as it is born again, and in the cold climates of the mainland and the rest of the world, children begin to play outdoors, and in the animal kingdom, Bambi is born in the wilderness, and the bear cubs emerge from their mother's wombs. Rabbits are a symbol of fertility, often signifying, besides fertility, intuition, rebirth, promise, and fulfillment. Even in Hawaii, you can see the trees are all nice and green, as I mentioned. And even Diamond Head is nice and green at this time of the year. If you look at Punchbowl when you go to town, you will see that Punchbowl looks nice and green also. And soon the shower trees will be in full bloom. People will begin to take their cars and drive up to Wahiawa to see the Okinawan sakura in bloom. My mother, who was a kindergarten teacher of Kauai, often used the phrase, April showers bring May flowers. Whenever I used to complain about the rain because I couldn't go outside to play. April showers that bring Mayflower is a reminder that even the most unpleasant of things, and in this case the heavy rains of spring, can bring about very enjoyable things indeed, and in this case, an abundance of flowers in April and in May. It is a lesson in patience, and one that remains valid to this very day. Many of life's greatest things come only to those who wait, and by patiently and happily enduring the clouds and the damp of the month, you can find yourself more easily able to take in the sights and smells of the months that follow. After all, it's easier to love something if you begin with an optimistic outlook, right? So next time you're gloomy about the weather, keep in mind the classic rhyme. April showers bring May flowers. This fundamental elementary school rhyme represents many fundamental Buddhist teachings. April showers that bring May flowers is a reminder that even the unpleasant things, in this case maybe a rainy day, especially any time of the year here in Hawaii, can result in enjoyable things such as flowers throughout the year. This rhyme also encourages us to have patience, which is one of the 6 paramitas, and to appreciate the naturalness of life as it unfolds before our very eyes. Rain, hot and humid temperatures, heavy winds, high surf warnings and allergies, these are all part of what we call life. In nature and in life, Buddhism teaches us that things are a result of innumerable causes and conditions. And thinking about this April rains that bring May flowers, it brings to mind several stories. For example, the story of Hisako Nakamura, who had to overcome severe hardship throughout her life. People like the sister of Olympic star and junior gold medalist Dominique Mosiano. Her sister's name was Jennifer Bricker, who was born without legs, but achieved much in athletics. A woman like Helen Keller, who was born blind and hearing impaired. When they were given lemons, they made lemonade. The story, I don't know if you heard this story about the carrot, egg, and coffee bean. Have you heard this story?
No.
Okay, let me see if I can remember it. In this story, there was this woman, a young girl, who went to her mother who was in the kitchen, complaining to her mother how hard life has been for her. She was being teased in school, she wanted to quit school, she didn't want to go there anymore. So her mother took her into the kitchen and filled 3 pots with water and put it on the stove. And after the water was began to boil, in one pot she placed raw carrots. In the other pot she placed raw egg. And in the third pot she put some grains, coffee grains in. And after boiling it for a few minutes, she turned the stove off. And then she took the carrot out. She said, look at the carrot. It went in hard. But after it got in the boiling water for a few minutes, it became soft and limp. She ladled the egg out. This egg with its hard shell, in the hot water, what happened to the egg? It became hard inside. She ladled the coffee. She could smell the coffee. Oh, it smells so good. See? The coffee turned the water, changed the water. It didn't change the coffee grains. So that's how you have to live your life. See? The carrot went in hard and stiff. It came out soft after adversity. The egg went out with hard shell. It hardened with a hardened heart. But the coffee changed the water instead. So that was the lesson of the coffee, the carrot, egg, and the coffee bean. So I want to share this story with you. It's the story of a cracked pot. Long time ago, there was this lady who lived in the country. And those were the days when there was no running water, faucets, or sinks. Because there was no running water, anytime the lady needed water for cooking or washing or cleaning or drinking, she would have to walk to a nearby stream and carry it back to her home. So the way the lady did this, she had 2 big buckets of water, and she had a big stick, and there were ropes attached to the pots of water, and she would carry the pots of water with the stick on her shoulders, and then she would walk back to her home. Although from a distance the pots seemed to be identical, one of the pots had a crack in it near the top, while the other pot seems to be perfect. I have a picture of this pot. So the other pot thought it was perfect. Several times a day, the lady would carry her pots to the stream and she would fill them up with water and bring them back to the house. You see which pot has a crack in it? Right? It's the one with the water flowing out of it. So the one on the left, the perfect pot, was always smiling and smirking. It was always very proud of itself because it knew that it was doing its job, transporting the water, that there was no mistakes. It was perfect. On the other hand, on the long walk back to the stream, to the house, the cracked pot, the one on the right, was always arrive only half filled. So for 2 years, the lady would use the same 2 pots to get the water from the stream, and she would make several trips to the stream during the day. And during each trip, she would return to the house with only 1.5 pot of water. The perfect pot was always proud of this accomplishment. But what was not good about the perfect pot was that it was mean to the pot with a crack in it. Hesitate to call it a crack pot because it's a crack pot, not a crack pot. The big difference, right? So it would begin to laugh at the pot and make fun of it. And because of this, the cracked pot was ashamed of its own imperfections. This pot with a small crack in it was embarrassed that it could do only half the work it was supposed to do in the same amount of time as the other pot. After 2 years, the cracked pot really began to feel like a failure because of the main words from the quote, perfect pot. One day the cracked pot spoke to the lady by the stream and it said this: "I'm so ashamed of myself because I have this crack on my side. Each time you fill me up, precious water leaks out all over the trail back to the house. And because of my crack, because of the leak, you have to do more work. I'm so sorry that I'm not perfect like the other pot. I'm very sorry that you have to do more work, and I wish I could be better, but I'm cracked and I'm not perfect." The lady smiled. She looked at the cracked pot and said, "Did you notice that on the path of the stream to the house, there are all these beautiful flowers on the side of the path? But on the other side, there's nothing. That's because I've always known about the small crack on your side. And to me, you're perfect, just as you are. So don't compare yourself to the other guy. Don't worry about that. Because I knew of your imperfection. And that's natural. You're made of clay. Because I was aware of these cracks, I planted flower seeds on your side of the path. And every day, every trip we made back from the stream to the house, you have watered those seeds. For 2 years, I've been able to pick flowers on the trail from the stream to the house. And I'm able to offer these to the Buddha with those beautiful flowers that you have watered all along because of you, because of the way you are. I have these beautiful flowers growing along the path to the house." So upon hearing this, the cracked pot realized that it was perfect, just the way it was. Although others may say insensitive, sometimes maybe even downright mean things to us, and criticize how we are, how how we dress, the manner we walking or talking. Wise people like the Buddha understand that no one is perfect, so we shouldn't feel so self-conscious or worried about how we are. Because we are naturally the way we are, each of us is unique. And each of us has something about us that someone can label as good or bad or in the middle. We all have that moment. But as a lady and the water pot show, I saw from the flowers along the trail, these are the differences and unique things in all people, and things that help to make our lives enjoyable and interesting. Each of us is one of a kind. That is what makes us special. However, just like the crackpot, sometimes we compare ourselves to others. We feel down about ourselves, like the proud and perfect pot on the left that you saw. We may find ourselves being critical of others for not being just like us, or for not thinking like us. But just as the lady taught the crackpot, we're all taught to see things as they are, to see ourselves as we are, and to accept ourselves as we are, and to accept others as they are. Cracks it all. Now, as we go through our lives, as we leave this temple, think about the story of the crackpot. And though it may seem like a children's story to some extent, it is not. Early one morning, I was driving up Equinox Street in town towards King Street, and I stopped to see it at the red light. And as I was waiting for the light to change, I gazed up at the Ko'olau Mountains ahead. I saw the low-lying hills, the tentless area, with the homes visible in the distance. But then I saw above all that what I thought was another mountain range, high above the Ko'olaus. Above that, it looked like the sky was turning color, like the start of the sun rising above it. It was dark and smooth, and didn't look like clouds. So confused that I didn't think the mountains were so high, almost as high as the Rocky Mountains, I thought. I pulled over to get a better look, to get a better vantage point. Then after looking at the far right side, I realized that it was an illusion, that it was just the clouds that appeared to my 86-year-old eyes. It looked like mountains, but it looked real to me. Don't we often look at life like this? How many times have we seen or thought that we've seen something, but it was untrue? Similarly, we put thoughts in our minds that are untrue also, but discover that the truth only when we look at it with our eyes wide open. So let us pause and reflect and appreciate the uniqueness in each of us, to see each of us as we are, to accept each of us as we are. Cracks and all. Let us take the time to appreciate the beautiful flowers, and let us take the time to appreciate all those that are on our Dharma path that bring color, excitement, and change, variety in our lives. It is written in the book, Everyday Suchness, that each day is an absolute day and cannot be substituted for another day. Each place is unique and absolute in its place. Each person is unique and absolute. Heaven is above and earth is below, and this makes unity. And it is not the question of which is better, father, mother, husband and wife, man and woman, same-sex couples. The worthiness of each cannot be judged by comparison. We have to see and understand things as they are. Each and all are unique and interdependent. And at the same time, we are all one. When we begin to think of these things, we will allow ourselves to experience a Nibbutsu moment in our life. This Nibbutsu moment is when we go from this shore, the shore of delusion, to the other shore, the shore of wisdom and compassion, or Ohigan. This is the wish of the Buddha. And this is responding to the call of Amida in deep gratitude for life itself. Would you please join me once again by putting your hands together as I read the words of Shinran Shonin in the hymns of the Dharma ages. I am without shame and self-reproach, and completely lack a mind of truth and sincerity. Because the name is directed by Amida, however, its virtues lift the 10 quarters, embracing me completely, bringing me to the other shore. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for coming to this Sunday service. And may you know and take solace in Amida Buddha's infinite compassion. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Sensei. That was so wonderful to have you today and for your Ohigan message. Do we have anybody who would like to share a kanwa this morning? No? Okay. I also, before we move on, I also want to thank you, Sensei, for, as mentioned, our participation with the Windward Temple for the Windward Bon Dance Festival. It's very unique and something we never dreamed of, but it happened, and we do want to continue, even though you've moved on to Moilili and Sensei here is going to go to Hilo. We want to do everything we can to continue that because the relationship is so valuable. So, thank you. Okay, Sensei. We'll now continue with the Gatha then Ondoksan 2 in Japanese and on page 113 in our service book. Please rise if you're able to. Please be seated. This concludes our Ohigan service this morning. Please join us for refreshments downstairs. Just a few reminders, we're having our Aloha Mahalo barbecue for the Sawada family. Reverend Sawada and Norma, been so precious to this temple. And hopefully we'll get to see Nathan too. That is next week, Sunday, March 17th. We're gonna have our regular service here at 9 and the barbecue at 11:30. So Reverend Smikawa, if you can join us, please do. I've invited Reverend Barbara Brennan and a few there from the temple after their Ohigan too. So also we have our 2024 Zoom lecture series, and we are having Dr. Nobuo Haneda. He will be doing his discussion on the larger sutra for 4 Wednesdays, beginning on March 13th, Wednesday, from 5:30 to 7:30. So I encourage you to join us, because if you haven't heard Dr. Haneda already, you're missing out. So he is so knowledgeable and makes our studying the Buddhism very interesting and easy to follow. So again, it's 4 Wednesdays from 5:30 to 7:30. It's 4 Wednesdays, it goes to April, the 4th session. And you sign up, you can let us know, or it's through the Betsu in the main temple, email them there. And there's a suggested $10 cost per session. But again, if you can join us, especially those of you online, please do so, because we hardly have this opportunity for him to do a series like this on Zoom. Okay, thank you. Sensei, anything else?
Only thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming today, and thank you for people following us in this Zoom. Thank you so much. Thank you, Sensei Sumikawa, for coming today and to give a nice lecture. Very nice. Namandado. Namandado. Namandado.